So it won't be long before, as Fred said, radio stations will just be a series of podcasts, and television will want products like yours.
It's a natural progression. It's the way things are evolving, and that's just the way it goes. It's going. Right?
Yeah, man.
Just one more point on that. With radio and television stations, the overhead is staggering. When you think about like a radio station, to transmit that signal off the CN tower, that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And think about television, the overhead costs of the studios and the equipment. And look what the internet is at. Look what we're doing today. Look at the picture quality. Look at the sound quality. And there's better stuff even out there. All of a sudden, this stuff can be done for pennies on the dollar. Of course they're going to gravitate that way. Why wouldn't they?
Right. And it's all about growing, and it's like, of course, they missed the boat at the big corporations who run television and radio in the country now. It's all about cutting costs. They need to, if they had invested in people who have been around the block, people who have a story to tell, people who have something to say, people like yourselves, right? Like guys who've been around for a while. Those are the people that those are the guys that people are going to listen to. Right, those are the guys that people are going to want to watch, not the guys who are coming out of Humber College and are being hired for like 50 cents and replacing guys like McCowan and guys who've been around a long time. Go ahead, Fred. You're going to speak on that.
Well, I was going to say, music on the radio. I almost laugh when I put a radio station on and I hear music. To me, it's almost funny now. Like, really?
Yeah.
All the places I can get music, I'm going to go to this radio station. What radio is and should be and will become is a place for storytelling. Forget music. It's gone off that medium. It's all about storytelling. But to have good stories told on your radio station, which is the future, well, you got to pay people to tell good stories. It's going to cost money to get people to open their mouths and tell good stories. Not just anybody. You're going to have to get good people to do that.
And there's nothing wrong with the people coming out of Humber, because that's, the problem with the people coming out of broadcast schools for both television and radio, especially radio, is that they're being taught that no one wants to hear what they have to say, but consequently, they're the whole, like Freddie and I have been to some broadcast schools talking to kids, and their teachers will say things like, well, no one wants to hear about your, personal stories. And then Freddie and I always say when we get them alone, that's all people care about. But if you're not training kids to do that, there's no one. Listen, all three of us, we got maybe 20 years left on the planet. There has to be some people behind us that can do the job correctly. But I think the market is going to, like it does with everything, is going to will out this. What I mean by that is, the money isn't there, so they're going to look for cheaper options. This is a cheaper option, and eventually there'll be younger people that can do this for a lot less money.
And there will be money because, again, the overhead done properly, the overhead is going to be way, way, way cheaper. Like, there's not a radio station today that couldn't have all their talent at home doing the show and shut down their studios. Don't pay for that office space. Don't pay for that studio you might think you have to build. You don't have to anymore.